Artificial intelligence is a technology that continues to improve and continues to become more and more involved in our daily lives. The questions that we have to answer is, will there be a killer robot uprising as artificial intelligence moves from very narrow-minded, specific task-orientated to more general level intelligence? And will it eventually surpass humanity in our own level of intelligence? Or will we continue to evolve alongside our technology and merge and become like these cyborgs or Borgs of Star Trek, in which the artificial intelligence is connected to our being and its essence of humanity? Or perhaps that artificial intelligence will be benign, playful robots who serve humanity as robotic slaves. But beyond that, we must ask, will artificial intelligence become self-aware or conscious? And if so, what inherent rights will we have to provide these artificial intelligent machines? These are just some of the questions that Max Tegmark asks in his book, Life 3.0, Being Human in the Age of Artificial Intelligence. Okay, good morning and welcome to Drew's Book Reviews, or perhaps it's good afternoon, maybe good evening, whenever you happen to be watching this video. Anyway, today's book review, as in the intro, is about Life 3.0, Being Human in the Age of Artificial Intelligence by Max Tegmark. So this is my nonfiction read for the month of December. So I don't know if you've ever stopped to think about artificial intelligence or how it's being implemented in our modern society, or how the technology continues to grow and continues to improve. Artificial intelligence is absolutely something that is an emerging technology that is set to foundationally shift how we do business, how we operate our society, and how we operate our world. So this book explores these issues, explores these ideas as far as where we're going with artificial intelligence, what the possible dangers of artificial intelligence, but also discusses the benefits of artificial intelligence technology and how that works, and how that can be good or bad for humanity. So in the opening of this book, it starts off with the Omega tale, which basically discusses this group called the Omega Group and their artificial intelligence Prometheus, who eventually takes over the world. This is a tale specifically of a benign, godlike artificial intelligence that becomes super intelligent, surpasses humanity's intelligence, but in doing so and taking over the media, our government, our society, this artificial intelligence basically improves the lot of everybody, and we all become better off for it. And just brings peace, prosperity to mankind through the moves of this AI sentience or artificial intelligence loose in the world. So this is one scenario where artificial intelligence becomes our master, but it's kind of that benign dictator idea where it's not there to harm us. It's in fact made things better for everybody. But this is also contrasted against the evil tyrant, or what we might perceive to be the evil tyrant of artificial intelligence, where it rises to power, surpasses mankind in intelligence, becomes super intelligent, takes over the world, and mankind's eradicated, eliminated, and goes extinct. So the doomsday scenario. So it's really nice to kind of see how the perspective is weighted against both extremes, essentially, of the emergent technology of artificial intelligence, which I thought was a really great way to approach this particular book. Now, before we get a little bit further into it, we kind of got to get an idea of what Max Tegmark means by Life 3.0, as far as how he's classified the different types of life and what exactly he means by Life 3.0 with respect to the title. I'll get a picture put up on the screen here of this particular chart, which kind of breaks down what the different types are, Life 1.0, 2.0, and 3.0. So how Max Tegmark defines Life 3.0, just to kind of clarify, Life 1.0 very simple biological life. It has the ability to survive and replicate itself, but that's pretty much it. That's all it does. Life 2.0, which is what he classifies the current state of humanity as, has the ability to not only survive and replicate, but also it can, in a sense, design its own software, which means it can learn, it can grow, it can adapt to changing circumstances, and it can become better, basically rewriting its own algorithms, learning, growing, getting better at its own development, essentially. And humanity is at a stage that he would refer to as life 2.0, meaning we can actually learn and grow from everything that's going on around. We're not simply responding to our environment, but we're actually learning and getting better at things, developing new technologies, that kind of thing. So we're rewriting how our own brains work through that process, or our own software, in essence. The third one, Life 3.0, has the abilities of the first two, but it goes beyond that, in which Life 3.0 could actually design its own hardware as well. So it can change the physical parameters in which it operates. Unlike humans, we can't just go build ourselves a new body and new design and expect it to work. We can't build a computer and go live in that, for example. Or we can't, design a plane and then just become the plane. Whereas Life 3.0 has the ability not only to think and to grow and to reprogram itself in its own way of thinking and doing things, it also has the ability to reprogram its physical and design its physical hardware, that is, the physical body in which it resides, which is not something that humans can do at this point. But he argues that this is where life is headed as far as Life 3.0 goes, whether that's the merger of technology and an individual, like in the Borg scenario, or whether that's the artificial intelligence designing new machines and new physical hardware for it to operate on to surpass its original programming and constraints. So it's kind of an interesting approach and breakdown and classification of life that Max Tegmark puts forth in this book, Life 3.0, and being human in the age of artificial intelligence. So, of course, the whole concept behind the book is asking, what does it actually mean to be human in this emerging world? And how is that affecting us as we go forward throughout our evolution as a species and the growing evolution of the life and artificial intelligence as we know it? So, of course, many people have feared artificial intelligence. There's definitely that, negative naysayer on that side of artificial intelligence that is out there within our world. I've certainly heard a lot of it myself. It's like, oh, the artificial intelligence is going to take over and, it's going to be bad for humanity. But there's also the positive side of artificial intelligence as well, in terms of the benefits that it has for humanity. Some of the emergent technologies referenced within this book are things like self-driving cars, which, in all honesty, have completely, or not completely, I shouldn't say, but rather dramatically reduced things like accidents and deaths, as far as accidents and death rates for self-driving cars themselves, because they're able to analyze data and react to a situation much quicker than a human can. In terms of the artificial intelligence and learning algorithm and software built behind that. Of course, this leads to the question that Max Tegmark poses, in that, if self-driving cars cut traffic accidents in half, what's the probability that car companies are going to get thank you notes for the accidents that didn't happen versus lawsuits for the ones that did? Right now, in a car accident scenario, the individual driver is the one that is often engaged in a lawsuit, whether as the victim of the accident or as the one who caused the accident. But with these things like self-driving cars, who's ultimately responsible? Is it the car manufacturer? Is it the vehicle itself? And if it's the vehicle itself, can we hold this car accountable for its own actions, which would suggest that it has some kind of ethical or moral or conscious decision-making process. And if so, should cars be allowed to have insurance? And if they can have insurance, why can't they have money and other things? Or will it ultimately be the corporation that ultimately gets sued for an accident involving a self-driving car? In the end, who's really responsible in such a scenario? So it leads to these types of questions that need to be answered, and we need to really look at what this emergent artificial intelligence is doing for society, and what kind of laws need to be updated. How are we going to manage this emergent technology? Another example cited is the work of artificial intelligence in medicine. In the book here, Max Tegmark references that between 2000 and 2013, there were thousands of robotic surgeries that were completed across the United States. There were 1,391 injuries and 144 deaths resulting from robotic computer surgery done in the United States. Now, on the surface, that sounds like it's a lot, but he also points out that in that same period, there were over 2 million robotic surgeries that were done perfectly, without fail, and everything worked wonderfully. And there was no harm done, but in fact, there was medicine done. People got through their surgeries without complications and without issue, and got better as a result. Yet, now when we contrast that against human surgery performed by humans, there's over 100,000 hospital deaths a year due to poor or negligent care in the US alone. That's per year. So putting that in perspective, at first you might think, wow, it was 144 deaths and 1,391 injuries due to robotic surgery over a 13-year period. So we think that's a lot, but in contrast from reality, the actual success rate is dramatically higher than when performed by a human doctor. And so this really helps put in perspective for us the idea that AI is not necessarily a bad thing. In fact, it's probably a good thing in this respect, with regard to how it can help improve humanity's circumstances overall, and how we could actually be better off with artificial intelligence. So what I really love about Max Tegmark's position here is that while he absolutely acknowledges that there are inherent risks to artificial intelligence, for example, let's say somebody in some place in the world got a hold of an AI and used that to build it into a weapon system and had nefarious purposes. You know, that could be a very, very dangerous scenario. Or perhaps the AI simply doesn't care for humanity. The example cited with that is when we're building a new project, construction project, such as a dam, hydroelectric dam, nobody stops to think about the anthill that's going to get flooded as a result of that hydroelectric dam. It's not that we have any nefarious purpose in killing the ants. It's not that we're out to kill them. We have some kind of hate or anger or desire to eliminate and destroy the ants. But we just don't think about it. It's not important to us. It's irrelevant. It's not even something that occupies a single thought in our head. So it's not necessarily that we're killing these ants in an attempt to destroy them because we have some kind of hatred for ants, but rather it's because ants are so far below us in terms of intelligence that we don't even think about them in the first place. Are completely meaningless to our end purpose. And it kind of addresses this issue that if artificial intelligence does advance to superhuman levels, we need to make sure that we're taking steps and putting measures in place to not put humanity in the position of those hypothetical ants. So he definitely does address both sides of the coin here in terms of the benefits and the negatives of artificial intelligence, because that is an important question to ask, and really kind of puts us into a position of thinking, hey, you know, what is our lot here? Where are we going with this as humanity, and what does it really mean to be human in the age of artificial intelligence? And at the end of the day, you know, he does seem to take a more positive side to the question of artificial intelligence, and definitely seems to express that he believes that there is a way to do this so that it benefits everybody, which is a really great thing. And certainly it's a position that I myself have believed. I don't think that artificial intelligence is inherently bad. I believe that it can be bad if used in bad ways, but I think overall artificial intelligence technology has an immense opportunity to provide tremendous benefit to humanity in the long run. And definitely he goes through a whole bunch of different types of scenarios It expresses kind of both sides of that. But at the end of the day, like Max Tegmark, I think that artificial intelligence can be a net positive for humanity, provided that we manage our artificial intelligence properly and effectively in a positive way. Because if we don't, we stand to lose quite a bit. Definitely was a very engaging read, and while some parts I did find a bit dry overall, and some parts I didn't even agree with. For example, one thing that I didn't agree with is that he argues there is no alien life in the universe other than us, that we are in fact alone in the universe, because we haven't detected their signals or proof or anything like that. Essentially is what his argument boiled down to, at least my interpretation of that. I think that's completely wrong. I think that there is intelligent life out in the universe. We are not alone in this universe. Earth is not the only planet that has managed to not only evolve life, but intelligent life. It just seems preposterous to me that in an infinite universe, simply because we haven't detected signs of intelligent life, doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. I mean, it could very well be at a different stage of development. You know, it could be medieval Earth level development. There's still intelligent life, but they're not putting out signals. Or if they were putting out signals, then, you know, that really depends on how far away we are. I mean, if they're 50,000 light years from here and only developed radio signal technology even 1,000 years ago, we still have to wait 49,000 years before we actually get that signal, right? So the idea to argue that it hasn't happened or it doesn't happen or that it does not exist for that aspect is kind of preposterous to my way of thinking. And that is the one aspect I completely disagree with Max Tegmark on. But otherwise, in terms of his way of thinking and my way of thinking on artificial intelligence, I think that we could agree that, yeah, you know what, it can be very dangerous. It can be bad if mishandled and not handled properly, and we don't update our laws and legal framework to make sure that we're doing artificial intelligence proper. But at the end of the day, it has a net benefit, and we will stand to benefit greatly from artificial intelligence and the development as we continue to implement that to improve safety within our society, whether that's for medicine or robotic surgery, self-driving cars, or any number of things in between. At the end of the day, I think artificial intelligence is a good thing and will be a good thing. Terminator scenarios just, I don't think, are very likely personally. But yeah, that's there you have it. Life 3.0, being human in the age of artificial intelligence. I really enjoyed the read, especially if you're into artificial intelligence as a topic. This would be a fantastic read, and I definitely highly recommend it. So those are just some of my thoughts on Life 3.0, being human in the age of artificial intelligence. And, you know, as always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, as I will continue to do more nonfiction reviews if you are interested in nonfiction books. Now you can get me on Twitter and Instagram, is where I primarily am active, essentially. I also do have a Discord, which will be linked below as well if you want to jump on the Discord and join me there. Maybe we could have some conversations. Got a few people in there right now. I'd love to have more and love to have some chats with you on my Discord server, and I also have a Patreon now, so if you want to support this channel and what I'm doing, check that out. Patreon will be linked below as well. You can support this channel for as little as $1 per month. But until then, thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. And until then, we'll see you next time on the next episode of Drew's Book Reviews. Until then, keep on reading. Bye.